All right. Hey there, guys. How's everybody doing tonight? Can everyone see and hear me okay? We just got a couple of minutes left here before we get started. A few people rolling in. So I just want to make sure everyone can see and hear everything. So if you could just give me a yes in the chat box, just so I know that everything's working the way that it needs to, that'd be great. Thanks. Right, hopefully that fixed anyone who can't see or hear. Thanks. Got some yeses coming in. Perfect. Awesome. Thanks. While we're just waiting to get started, where's everyone from? Just throw that out in the chat box. I'm in New York City, so maybe we're neighbors. Cool. Looks like everyone can hear. We just got a couple minutes left, just letting some people roll in here. Ready? Oregon, California. Got a New York City in there. Awesome. North Carolina. Perfect. Love North Carolina. Oh, New Jersey. So I got a neighbor. Philadelphia. Missouri. We just spanned the country here. Australia. Oh, wow. Nice. Got our international guest on board, so that's cool. Just give everyone another minute or two to just roll in. Even got a couple of familiar names on the webinar tonight, so that's cool. Just want to thank everybody for coming out. We're going to cover a lot of stuff tonight, so if you don't have your workbook downloaded, don't worry about it too much. I'm going to have some screenshots of that. Hopefully you got yours. If you didn't, don't worry. Do grab a pen and paper, though. You're going to want to take some notes, because this normally takes me 3 sessions or so with my private clients that we're going to cram all into this webinar. So it's a lot of information. And it's some really cool information. So just get something to write with. Close down Facebook, close all your other internet tabs. It'll keep you from getting distracted, and it'll make sure that the video and the audio streams properly. Shut your cell phone off. Let's just get ready. And let's go ahead and just get started whilst a few more people just pop in. So let's just go ahead and get started. And welcome to the webinar. My name is Joe Gaspard, and this is Forget Fear, the 9-step process to overcome fear and anxiety and get the life you want and deserve now. Because I couldn't come up with a longer title, apparently. So if you're here tonight, I know you came in through a Facebook ad, and that Facebook ad was "Fear is a Liar." And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the lie that fear tells all of us. So I was just like everyone else. I was afraid. I was terrified. I was anxious all the time. I was worried all the time. I was always worried. But right now I live in New York City. I earn several $100s an hour to do a job that I love. I get to work with amazing men and women, and I pretty much just live the life of my dreams. But most people only see that part, and they don't understand that that wasn't always the case. Because back in 2003, I was in a field hospital in northern Iraq. I had my second collapse lung. Shortly thereafter, I would lose my military career. I would end up getting divorced. I would end up with only a few $100s to my name, no job, no idea what I was going to do. And I was truly afraid until someone really took the time to explain to me the lie that fear tells us, why fear is a liar. And once I figured that out, everything changed. So that's what I'm going to talk about here tonight. That's what I'm going to help you understand here tonight. And I'm going to show you a system. I'm going to show you the exact system that I used and the exact system that I use with all of my private clients. And it's the same system that they use to overcome their fears, to master their mindset, to change their limiting beliefs and do what everyone seems to think is impossible. Whether that impossible is lose 100 pounds or double or triple or quadruple your income or meet the man or woman of your dreams, whatever that impossible is for you, whatever that is, I guarantee you that the only thing stopping you right now is fear. So once we have that under control, once we put fear in its place, it's going to change everything. So I've got a cool little presentation. I'm just going to take a second to switch over to that. So you should be able to hear and see just the same. I'm just going to share my screen with you. 1 second. Perfect. Now, hopefully everyone can hear and see that. And it looks like you can. So cool. So this is the picture from the ad, right? Fear is a liar. So that really becomes the question then is, what is the lie that fear is telling all of us? It's telling us all the exact same lie. But what is that lie? Well, that lie is that, like this guy in the boat, that we're all alone, that we're the only ones who are afraid, that we're the only ones who have these thoughts that say we can't or we won't or we're unable to. And that's just not true at all. I've never met anyone who was completely fearless. So by holding us in that feeling of that aloneness, that's how fear continues to lie to us. That's how fear keeps us where it wants us to be. So what I want you to do is I want you to stay tuned through this all the way to the end, because right at the end, I've got some pretty cool stuff I want to show you, and you got to stay tuned all the way to the end to see it, to get it. It's really awesome. Just hang out. So just a little housekeeping before we get started. What are we going to talk about here? Well, we're going to talk about the lie that fear is telling us all. So in this training, we're going to talk about the 3 major fears. What are the 3 major fears? Well, I've been a coach now for about a decade, and these are the 3 things that I run into over and over again with people from all over the world, people from every socioeconomic background, people of every race, religion, color, whatever. And these are the 3 major fears that I see the most, and that is the fear of being seen as unattractive, the fear of being broke, and that goes beyond money, but we'll get more into that later, and the fear of being alone, that no one's going to like us. So people aren't going to see us as attractive, we're not going to have anything, food, money, shelter, whatever, and the fear that we are alone. So we're going to talk about those in this training. And I know what you're already thinking. You're thinking, well, this won't work for me, or it's easy for you, Joe, because you've been doing this for so long, or I'm too old or too young or too short or too tall or whatever other BS excuses we're giving ourselves to not do what we want, to have fear hold us in place so that we don't accomplish the things that we want, we know we need, and we desire in life. Well, who is this training for? So this is an important one. This is for anybody who's ready to change, people who are ready to work and want what you believe to be a better life, whatever that is. And most importantly, this is for anyone who's dedicated and motivated to make some sort of change in your life. Because if you're not dedicated and motivated, well, this is just going to be another book you stick on a shelf and never use, and it won't matter. So who is this not for? This is not for anyone who's looking for a get rich quick scheme, any kind of magic pill, if you're driven by ego or if you're just uncoachable. Because quite frankly, if you already know everything, how can I possibly teach you anything? So fear. What is fear? What are we afraid of? Well, the biggest one I had was I was afraid to make a decision and then having it be wrong. I was afraid to pull the trigger on anything and end up having that be the wrong thing to do, or not have it turn out like I wanted, or go broke in the process, or lose a love, the relationship that I was in, or lose a friend, or get fired from a job. That was what fear did to me. So this is the story of fear and how it lies. This is a story of fear and how it lies to all of us, and how it tells pretty much the same lie to everyone. So the biggest thing that gets us afraid is we don't know what to do. So I'm going to give you a set of tools in this webinar that are going to help you know exactly what to do. Now, there's some art and science to it. And tonight I'm going to give you the science. I'm going to give you the toolkit to take with you out into your life so that you can put fear in its place, so you can get the life you want and deserve quickly and relatively painlessly. So when I went looking for answers, I went where everyone goes. I go to Google, I went to YouTube, I went to Facebook, and I just ended up with information overload. Now there's hundreds and thousands of answers out there, and this is just the best one I found for me and my clients. And that's the information that I'm going to give you tonight. That's that toolkit that I was talking about. So we're going to get rid of some of the information overload. We're going to get this really super simple. We're going to just scale it way down. We're going to take away all the stuff that doesn't work, and I'm just going to show you what's worked for me and for my private clients over the past decade to get rid of fear, to achieve what people said was impossible, to get the lives that they wanted and deserved. So the question we're always left with is how do I overcome fear and anxiety? Because I'm the only one suffering. So how do I overcome it? That was the question that I kept asking myself, and the question that all of my clients keep coming to me with is, how do I overcome this fear and anxiety? How do I get rid of this feeling in the pit of my stomach, this feeling of dread that makes me not want to get out of bed or go to work or do anything except for sit on the couch and watch marathons on Netflix? How do I overcome that? Well, we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you why you're afraid, kind of what you're afraid of, and then how you fix it. And we're going to start with this man. This is Dr. Bruce Lipton, and Dr. Bruce Lipton has written many books, one of them being my all-time favorite book, and it's called The Biology of Belief. And in The Biology of Belief, Dr. Lipton explains exactly what happens when we have a fearful thought, or a negative thought, or a happy thought, or a positive thought, or a sad thought. And what happens is your body starts to produce certain hormones. And this happens. There's a chemical messenger that goes back and forth in between cells. You have a happy thought, your body produces happy hormones. You have a sad thought, your body produces sad hormones. And then your cells, these little cell receptors here, they take up those hormones and they say, that's nutrients. They take it up kind of the same way they take in vitamins and minerals and nutrients from when you eat food. Now, that's not exactly scientifically accurate, but it's fairly close. So you produce these hormones and your cell receptors start to take up these hormones and say, every time I have this, I get the nutrients that I need. So I'm going to keep having these sad thoughts. So basically your cells start screaming out to your body, hey, have these bad thoughts, have these terrible thoughts, because we want more of those stress hormones that you keep giving us, because we're already programmed to have them. So you're chemically programmed now to be afraid, because you've been afraid so long, you're literally becoming addicted to fear on a cellular level. And then this happens. These neural net pathways are formed. These electrical impulses are shot from your brain to the rest of your body. So when you're afraid and you get that feeling in your gut, your fingers tingle, you start to sweat and get cold and clammy skin, or, when you're happy and your face gets warm and you start smiling, these neural net pathways, these electrical impulses are reinforced over and over and over again. So on a chemical level and on an electrical level, you become addicted to fear. You become addicted to this fearful thought, this anxiety, this worry, this dread, because we're constantly living in it. We're always worried. We're taught to be worried. We're taught to be worried all the time about everything. And these are really just beliefs. They're beliefs that are installed into us. Now, see, Dr. Lipton says that we're programmed, basically, our subconscious minds are programmed by the time we're 6 years old. So if you've been walking around since you were 6 years old with these programmed beliefs of be afraid, be sad, be fearful, whatever that is, you've had that your whole life. So you've just been reinforcing it on a chemical and an electrical level over and over and over again, all day, every day. And those beliefs get reinforced by, television, by news, by the things we read, by all of these things, by the people we hang around with, by the things we put into our mind, by our life situations. These beliefs get reinforced over and over and over again. So let's take a look at some of the common beliefs. And some of the common beliefs are, oh, I'm too short, or I'm too fat. For me, it was I'm too skinny. I was called skinny my whole life. So for me, it was too skinny, or money is evil, or you either have money or you don't, or just be happy you have someone, or don't rock the boat at work. You don't want to get fired. Just be happy you have a job. So we're going to talk about how we can change these limiting beliefs, how we can change these undesirable beliefs into desirable beliefs. And the question then is, where do we start? Well, that's what I'm going to give you next. I'm going to give you an exact place to start, a place where no doubt you can absolutely positively start from and get the results that you want. And we're going to start here. We're going to start with fitness. Now, I know what everyone's thinking. Fitness, I thought you weren't going to give me a workout. And I'm not going to give you a workout at all. I'm just going to give you a place to start. This is simply a step one. I'm going to give you a very specific set of steps to take, 9 in total, that's going to get you to the life you want and deserve and desire. And we're going to start with fitness for a couple of very, very specific reasons. And I love this quote. This was one of the quotes that shaped my life in the fitness industry. And that was what John F. Kennedy said, which is physical fitness is not only the most important keys to a healthy body, it's the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity. Now, there's no doubt in, I think, anyone's mind that he's one of the most successful and intelligent men who ever lived. I mean, he was president of the United States and was part of the team responsible for putting a man on the moon. So we can agree then, I think, that if John F. Kennedy is saying, hey, physical fitness is really important, not only for your healthy body, but for pretty much all of your intellectual activity, that we then can use it as a really good place to start. And that's all we're going to use it for here. We're going to look at it and say, we can start here and then move on to the next step and the next step and the next step. So how can, through fitness, we increase our levels of confidence? How through fitness can we earn more money, have better, happier relationships? How can fitness do all of that? Well, I'll tell you how it did it for me and how it does it for my clients. So back in 2003, I was serving with the 101st Airborne in Iraq, and I had my second collapsed lung. And like I said, I was laying in a hospital bed in northern Iraq at my second collapsed lung, and I knew that my military career was over. Now, this is just a representation here of what happened. So right at the top of both of my lungs, holes had formed, and both of my lungs collapsed. And laying there in the hospital beds, and the doctors are telling me all this undesirable stuff. You're never going to be able to walk up a flight of stairs again without getting winded. You'll definitely never be able to run again. Your military career is going to come to an end. Basically the prognosis was not good for someone with my condition. You see, at both points when my lungs collapsed, I started to suffer from hypoxia. Now, hypoxia is what happens when like mountain climbers climb Mount Everest, right? And they need the oxygen masks. My body's oxygen level had dropped below any kind of safe level. I was basically suffocating virtually at sea level. I got out of the hospital and I was addicted to the painkillers that they were cramming down my throat. And so now I had not only this lung condition to deal with, now I'm dealing with, oh, I'm addicted to the opioid painkillers that the doctors are giving me that are telling me that this is going to help me get better. So I basically ended up overweight, out of shape, and I had given up. I was just done. I was like, this isn't working. My life is terrible. I can't even get out of bed in the morning. I'm afraid. I'm overwhelmed with anxiety. I'm worried all the time. Like this isn't how life is supposed to be. And to top it off, like I said, I was losing my military career. I had only a few $100s in the bank. My now ex-wife had made a new friend, as she put it, while I was serving over in Iraq. I had nowhere to go, nothing. I had no hope, no job, nothing. I mean, I was lost. And I was like the guy in the beginning. Fear was telling me that I was all alone, that I was just out there in the boat by myself alone. I was the only one who was feeling this way. I was being, I was being my own worst enemy, basically. And I was letting fear win. I was letting fear lie to me and tell me that I was just out there alone. And then I discovered the elliptical. And I said, I can't live this way. I can't live this way. I can't live on an oxygen tank. I can't not walk upstairs. I can't have that happen. So I went to the gym and I got on the elliptical and I said to myself, all right, I'm just going to make 5 minutes. Well, I didn't make it for 5 minutes. I only made it for about 2 or 3 and ended up laying on the floor feeling like I was going to die. But I was determined and I kept going back every day until one day I made the 5-minute mark. And then I said, I'm going to make 10 minutes. And the process repeated itself. I kept going back every day over and over and over again until I made the 10-minute mark. And then I decided, all right, I'm going to go for 20 minutes. And again, the process repeated itself. And I went every day until I made it to the 20-minute mark. And that was my first shift. That was the first shift inside of my brain that I said, hey, if I can do this, if I can change this one thing that everyone says is impossible, this one thing that everyone's telling me that I can't possibly do, that it's going to be impossible for me to overcome the odds, for me to ever run again, then really, what else can I do? You see, because this is me now, right? Back in 2003, I was being told, there's no way, you're never going to be able to do this. You're never going to be able to run. But now I run a 6-minute mile. You're never going to, be able to move your body again because of all the surgery. You're going to have this, this limited mobility. But here's me doing this, crazy yoga pose, and that I wasn't going to be able to accomplish this stuff. But here I am doing this stuff at a level that most people, quite frankly, never will. And I'm not saying that to impress you, but to impress upon you that just through these small efforts, this little bit of effort, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, this repetition over and over and over again, I saw for the first time really that something more was possible, that I could do this other thing. And that was the shift in mindset that I needed. That was the shift that kickstarted the rest of my life. So that's why I say start with fitness. Now, as my friend and business partner and my own mentor and coach, Nick Jacogian says, he says, all mindset change is achievement based. And that was the point of that whole story, was to show you how you can come from zero to something that is, way beyond zero, closer to the 10 end of the scale than the 0 end of the scale. So as you start to make these small achievements every day, getting a little better and a little better, your mindset will start to change. And then it's about, okay, well, if I can do this with fitness, what other parts of my life can I do this with? So start here. Start with fitness. Start in the gym. Get up off the couch, put down the Doritos, shut off Netflix, and just go for a walk around the block. If you're already in fitness, make a decision. Make a decision today that you're going to do an extra push-up, that you're going to run 10 seconds faster, that you're going to do something. Just start here and make these incremental changes over and over and over again. Because fitness is measurable, it's attainable, and it's instantaneous. It's measurable because you can write it down and you can see it. You can see your progress. And that is a mindset change. As you start to see, hey, I went from 0 to 1, that's a measurable change. It's attainable because anyone can do it. I mean, I've trained people when I was a personal trainer. I trained people with, no legs or Parkinson's disease or, some other crazy kind of what we would consider a disadvantage, that they were able to attain a better level of fitness. And it's instantaneous. Fitness change is instantaneous. If all you're doing all day is sitting on the couch, eating chips, watching TV, scrolling through your Facebook ad, and now suddenly you're at least getting up and going and walking around the block, that's an instantaneous shift that you can see. You can measure it, you can attain it. If you're already working out every day, then you can add an extra set, you can do a little bit more, and that's an instantaneous shift that you can measure right away, you can attain right away, and you can continue this process throughout the rest of your life. Because as you do it, you're going to become more and more competent. As your competence gets better and better, as you increase your level of competence, what's going to happen is you're going to increase your confidence. Competence breeds confidence. The more competent you become, the more confident you will become. And as your confidence increases in one area of your life, it by default will increase across all areas of your life. So what is it that you could do? Do you want to run a marathon? Do you just want to lose 10 pounds? Or maybe you just want to get up and go to the gym every day. That's my challenge to you. My challenge to you is start with fitness. Start with fitness and challenge yourself every day and just see it for yourself. See it firsthand how it'll change your life. See how it can make what once seemed impossible quite possible. And then what's impossible to you? Is it to start your own business? Is it to climb a mountain? Do you want to meet the one? Or do you want to change the world? So the most asked questions I get are, Joe, what do I do? What if I fail? Or how do I motivate myself? Well, I've given you step 1, and I'm going to give you the other 8 steps here in a few minutes. And then what if I fail? Well, the truth is about 98% of what you do is going to be seen as a failure. But what you're going to get out of those 2%, or that 2% of success, is going to be so phenomenal. It's going to be so life-changing that you'll never have to ask yourself again, how do I motivate myself? Because that is going to continue to drive you. It's going to be the fuel that fires you every single day. But remember, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I love Newton's laws, and it's quite true here. If you don't like the result you're getting, change your action. All actions produce a result. So if you don't like the result you're getting, change your actions. If you're sitting on the couch and you're thinking, there's no way I could lose weight, well, change your actions. If you're going to work every day and thinking, oh, there's no way I could earn more money, well, again, change your actions. Or if you keep going on dates and thinking, oh, all the good guys are taken, or all women want is money, or whatever your beliefs are about that, again, just change your actions. So what do we do? Well, in the Mindset Mastery program that I do with my private clients, we always start with fitness. I know I keep saying it over and over again, but it really is true. I really do have them start just with fitness. Even if they're in great shape, we make some sort of change so that they can see that initial change, so that they can use fitness as a catalyst to change the rest of their life. The second thing is the words you speak. Now, I'm going to try not to go through this too fast so that you have a chance to take notes. So I'll try to slow down a little bit. But the second one is the words you speak. So the words that are coming out of your mouth are absolutely shaping your life. If you're walking around all the time saying, oh, I'm barely getting by, life sucks, whatever, then that's what's going to shape your life. Because as we talked about in the beginning, that's going to trigger a hormonal reaction in your body. That's going to trigger a system in your body that says, we're miserable, fire off those hormones. And again, we're cellularly, we're electrically basically wired this way now. The next one is the thoughts you think. Again, if you're walking around all the time with the thought in your head, oh, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm miserable, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm miserable. Well, those hormonal profiles are going to be created in your body all the time. That little tape player in the back of your head is going to just keep spooling all the time, throwing out that thought and then creating the hormonal profile in your body that's going to basically keep you addicted to that fearful and negative way of thinking. Next one is the big one. Money. That's the one people always want to know about when they come to me. Joe, how do I make more money? Well, again, I say, start with fitness. Show yourself that you can change something in your life. Now, I'll give you a little insider secret here. There's one big difference between rich people and poor people. I've studied, I was poor. I was homeless for a while, lived in my car, didn't grow up with a lot. So I know about being poor, but I studied lots and lots of rich people, millionaires and billionaires. And there's one major difference. This is the key to becoming rich. Right here, I'm going to give you the one key to becoming rich, and that is learn about money. And the most simple way to learn about money is to start a written budget. I've never met someone who was rich who did not have a written budget. So if you want more money, you want to start changing your mindset, you want to get into your own workout, so to speak, a fitness routine with money, start with a written budget. It's huge. It'll change everything for you. The next one is your career. You know, if you're getting up and you're going to a job you hate every day, again, you're creating those negative hormones. And your passion. Now, this isn't about lovemaking or anything. This is about what you love to do. So if you've put that on the shelf, if you've taken that thing out of your life that you love, you're never going to trigger those hormones, right? So if you're a guitar player, let's say, or a painter or a writer, and you're never, ever doing those things, you're never going to trigger those feel-good hormones, which will also help change your mindset some. So get back into that if you're missing it. Even if it's 10 minutes a day, it's going to make a huge change in your life. And then the next one is the big one, you know, your family. Oh man, my family. If you looked up dysfunctional family in the, if you type that into Google, my family portrait would pop up, and it would probably be one of those like awkward family photos or something. But you know, they're your family, and that's who they are. So really working on that relationship with your family and having better conversations, having better thoughts, having certain parts of your life like money, career, passion, all that stuff in alignment as you go to your family more and more is going to change that relationship that you have with your family, and it's going to change your mindset. So remember, these are numbered 1 through 9, and these are the numbers I want you to think about them in. Every single day, we're going to think about these in this order. We're going to come up with, I'm going to show you the process for using these every day, but this is how we're going to do it in this order. The next one is your friends. So the saying I love is, you're the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And nothing could be more true about this. So as someone who struggled with addiction, I can tell you, if you want to score drugs, hang out with addicts. All right. If you want to spend your life sitting on the couch playing PlayStation, hang out with gamers. If you want to spend your life making money and doing great things and living a happy and fulfilled life, hang out with those kind of people. You're the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And the last one is your significant other, if you have one. If not, it's the relationships you have with your significant other or others, whatever your case may be. Because I'm here to tell you right now, if you're spending all your time, with someone that you're dating, that you're married to, that you're sleeping with, whatever that is, and they're like a negative, terrible, horrible person who's always complaining, who doesn't have any sort of fitness regime, who doesn't think good things about money, who's hangs out with messed up people and comes from a messed up family and doesn't do anything about it, your life is going to reflect that. Your mindset is going to reflect that over and over and over every time. I guarantee it. And I'm speaking here from personal experience. I've been both sides of the coin. I've been the guy who's, screwing up the other person, and I've been screwed up by the other person. So trust me when I say, focus on them in this order, okay? Focus on them in this order and use the process that I'm about to show you. It's super simple. So it's easy to use. You just have to put in the work and do it. So I want you to imagine for a minute what your life would look like if you had those 9 things where you wanted them. If you were in the shape you wanted to be in, if you made the kind of money you wanted to make, and if you hung around with the kind of people you want to hang around with, if you were in love with the person that you wanted to be in love with, whatever that was, just take a second right now. Take 5 or 10 seconds and just think about that. Get a clear picture in your mind of what that looks like. Now ask yourself where you are. How far apart are the two? Are they miles apart? Are they feet apart? What does it look like when you see it in your mind? Because we're going to use that in the process. So here's where it gets good, right? Here's the part we've all been waiting for, the process. How do I use the process to change these things in my life, Joe? How do I make this work? Well, this is the number one determining factor between failure and success. Just like I told you about money was starting a budget. The number one factor between being rich and being poor that I found was these people had budgets, right? So the number one factor I found between failure and success is this process. It's the equivalent of someone who just goes into the gym and flails around, uses a bunch of different machines wildly, and never gets any results because they have no process. They have no map. They have no idea where they want to go. They just think, oh, I want to lose some weight. So what I'm going to show you is a written process that's going to get you from where you are right now to that place that you just imagined, that place that you held in your mind there for a minute. I'm going to show you how to get from A to B, right? We know where we are. We know where we want to be. All we have to do now is fill in the gap. So we're going to start with the 3 Ds. And the 3 Ds are decide, define, and design. Take a second and write those down. Decide, define, and design. Now, what does that mean? What does decide, define, and design mean? Well, we're going to look at them into what I like to call the 3 key areas. And fitness, the words we speak, and the thoughts we think. That's what we're going to categorize as our self. That's our own personal space. Our work, of course, is money, our career, and our passion. Those are all work, because if you really have a passion, it's a job sometimes. And the third one is our relationships. Those are our social circle, our family, our social circle, and our significant other, right? So we're just going to categorize them just to keep things orderly and neat and make it a little bit easier for you to work through the process every day. So you can do, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, 1 in the afternoon, whatever works best for you. You can sit and do all 3 of them together. It doesn't matter. It just makes it a little easier to see. So step 1, decide. All right. So this is the decision-making process. This is the part where we decide what we want. We're going to decide what we want for the 3 key areas. And I'll give you my own personal ones. My top 3 for my fitness is I'm trying to learn how to do a handstand push-up right now. So that's mine. I want to achieve this new fitness goal. These are vague, right? So we're going to keep them very vague. We're just making a decision that I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to earn more money. I'm going to, get in a relationship or fix my relationship or have better relationships, whatever that is. And then of these, which one is the most important to me? Because we want to just take one at a time. It's going to be pretty hard if you say, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds or, I want to, double my income. And at the same time, I'm going to try to get into the relationship of my dreams. I'm not saying it's impossible, because there is no impossible. It just makes it much, much more difficult. So we can just kind of cherry pick the one or two that are really most important to us right now. For me, the one I'm working on the hardest right now is my income. I want to increase my income by a certain amount by the end of the year. So that's my own personal one. Yours is maybe different, maybe the same, whatever it is. Just pick the one that's most important to you right now. So decide. I decided that I'm going to lose weight or gain weight or go to the gym, right? I decided I'm going to earn passive income. Again, they're vague. I decided that I'm going to, get in a relationship, right? So the decision's made. And then, excuse me, and then I love this Will Smith quote. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but just to summarize it, he says, if we get on the treadmill together, there's only one of two things going to happen. You're going to get off first, or I'm going to die. And really, it is that simple. Just when you make that decision, make it that, look, I got on the treadmill, and the only way I'm getting off is if I'm dead. That's it. I'm going to lose weight or I'm going to die. I'm going to earn more money or I'm going to die trying. I'm going to find this, perfect relationship that I want, this one that I decide on. I'm going to make the decision on, or I'm going to die. I'm not going to let me and fear got on the treadmill. One of us is dying, and it's not going to be me. Fear's either going to give up or I'm going to die trying. So what do you want to change? What do you want to change right now? I know mine. I could give you mine and you could work on mine for me if you want, but it really works better if you know what you want to change. So that's the decision to make. Step 2, define. Define. The 3 measurements of my success will be, and then they're labeled there. So this is one that most people miss. They get really vague and they stay there. I want to lose weight. Well, you could like lose a limb. You cut off a leg and that's losing weight. Like that's not how you want to lose weight though. So we're gonna get more specific with define. We're gonna do exactly what the word define says and means, and we're gonna define our success. And we're gonna come up with metrics for that success. So for me, I said I want to work on my income this year. And I'm gonna say, okay, in the next 30 days, in the next 90 days, and in the next 180 days. These are the metrics I want to see for success. So mine is I want to earn $250,000 a year in passive income. That's my current goal for this year. That's the goal I set up with my coach and my mentor, Nick, my business partner. He's helping me work on all that. So I know my measurements for success are, in 30 days, I need to earn X amount of money passively. In 90 days, I need to earn this much. And in 180 days, I need to be earning this much in order to hit my 1-year goal of $250,000 a year in passive income. So now you want to just take a second and write a few short sentences that define what this outcome will look like. And so I would write, I want to earn $250,000 a year in passive income from selling products on, my website, selling my book that I wrote, or, selling my workout programs or whatever that is. So write a few short sentences. Yours, could be, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in the next 30 days. And I'm going to change my lifestyle to make that happen. And when it does, my life's going to be great and amazing and all those cool things. So just taking a second, just writing a few short sentences that define what that will look like. And then I love this image because I'm a soldier, right? There's a laser scope. There's a laser pointer on the front of this rifle. And basically the way that works is you just point that laser at something and you pull the trigger until the target is no longer there. And that's all you're going to do with this defining factor, or this defining step, is you're going to point it at the 30-day and the 90-day and the 180-day goal, and you're just going to keep pulling the trigger every day, just like I did on the elliptical. You're going to get up, you're going to go, and you're going to do the elliptical for 5 minutes. And if you don't make 5 minutes, do it again and do it again and keep pulling the trigger. Point that laser at the target and keep pulling the trigger over and over and over again until you get what you want, until you get what you deserve, until you get what you need, right? That's what we're going to do here. We're just going to keep pulling the trigger, keep focused, laser focused on our target until we get there. So what are you focusing on? That's the question I have to ask you now. Is most people set these vague goals. I want to lose some weight. And then they go focus on the fact that they're not losing weight, or they focus on, the Real Housewives of whatever county, or they focus on, Netflix, or going out and getting drunk with their friends every night and can't figure out why they don't reach their goal, and why they feel so bad the next day, and why they're always afraid, and why they can't have the thing that they want. And it's simply that they're just focusing on the wrong thing. So that takes us to step 3. And step 3 is design. The 3 daily actions I can take starting today are. So what are 3 things that you could start on today? Well, I know that I could start on working on a budget. I can start on a marketing plan. I can start on, whatever. And then I do this every day, every night, at the end of my day, rather at the end of every day, at exactly 6 p.m. to be precise, I sit down every day and I say, 3 things I'm going to get done tomorrow, come hell or high water, are 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to get these done. So what is the best way I can develop a foolproof strategy for success? The answer to that is design a plan. Come up with some sort of success plan that's going to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Because if you don't know how you're going to get there, it's like, are you going to fly? Are you going to drive? Are you going to swim? Are you going to walk? It's that, how are you going to get from where you are to where you want to be? That's all we're doing here, is we're setting up a plan for success. And then that's like the GPS system in your car, right? You're going to put in the coordinates, and it's going to say, you're here now, and here's where you want to be. So you hit the button and you start driving, and there's going to be obstacles in your way, and you're going to need to turn left or right or whatever, and it's going to recalculate. And that's the point, is, did I get done today everything that I needed to get done? No. Well, I know I need to add that till tomorrow, or I can do that, on this day at this time with this person, right? I tell all of my clients, here's a little thing I tell all my clients that you can use. Plan, schedule, execute. Come up with a plan, schedule it. I put everything in my phone, in my Google Calendar, and I execute on it. When the timer goes off, when the alert goes off and it says, oh, you need to email this person right now, I just stop what I'm doing and I email that person. So set up your life that way. Plan, schedule, execute for all of these 9 different habits, right? All these 9 areas that we want to focus on, from fitness all the way down to your significant other. Just come up with a plan, schedule it, and execute on it. Whatever that is, maybe it's, I want to meet the one. Well, you're not going to meet the one sitting on your couch watching television. So plan, schedule, execute. I'm going to go to this singles event in my town, or I'm going to initiate contact with 5 different people online this week, on whatever dating site, whatever that is for you. Or plan, schedule, execute again for, let's look at it from fitness of, I'm going to go to the gym at this time and I'm going to do these specific exercises. If you get up and you do that, I'm going to tell you right now, you're doing better than 80% of the people out there in the world. You're doing better than 80% of the people that go to the gym regularly. Because most of them, that I learned in my decade in the fitness industry, most of them have no idea what they're doing when they walk into the gym. They go in, they flail around, and they can't figure out why they're never getting results. So if you plan, schedule, and execute, you go through the 3 Ds. You have a plan. You're like, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to lose 5 pounds in 30 days. Here's my plan to do it. Quite simply and quite honestly, you can go on the internet, go on Google, download a free workout, type in, how do I lose 5 pounds in 30 days? And just stick to that workout for 30 days. Just do everything that it says. And like I said, 98% of the time, you're going to feel like you failed. But 2% of the time, you're going to feel like a massive success. And that 2% is going to get you to your goal, virtually guaranteed. Now, I love this quote. I love quotes. But I love this quote by Muhammad Ali. I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to hate training. There's nothing sexy about what I've just shown you. There's nothing glamorous about what I've just shown you. It's not glamorous to write out your monthly budget and stick to it and plan on it. It's not glamorous to write out your workout and go to the gym and do the same things for 30 days. It's not glamorous to sit down with a notepad and say, okay, today I'm going to call my mom because I haven't spoken to her in a month. I'm going to initiate contact with one person on Match.com, and I'm going to go to this event, this networking event, in hopes of meeting some like-minded people. There's nothing sexy about that. The sexy part happens, the fun part happens, the exciting part happens when you get a big fat check and deposit it into your bank account, and all your friends are still working for $40,000 a year, I think is the average income in the US. The sexy part is when summer shows up and you take off your shirt or throw on your swimsuit and you go to the beach and you've got the rockinest fucking body on the beach. That's the sexy part, right? That's living the rest of your life as a champion. That's what this is all about. The training part, I'm not gonna lie to you, it sucks. Most days I hate going to the gym, and I've been in the fitness industry for a decade. I hate doing my monthly budget. It sucks. I want an accountant. That's why I want more money, so I can hire somebody to do it for me. That's why I want this passive income, so I can let someone else handle it. I went for years without speaking to my family. Sometimes it's painful. I'm like, oh man, I don't feel like dealing with their crap today. I don't want to talk to them, but I do it. And the payoff is when it works, I feel like a freaking champion. And that's the point. That's what we're looking for here, is to create that success. It's not a constant thing. You're not always at your highest high. You're not always at your lowest low. You're training and you feel like crap and you don't want to do it, but then you succeed and you feel great. And that's the point. That's what we're looking for, is to come up with a plan to get us to that crest, that peak that makes us feel amazing. So ask yourself, how can I design a plan? How can you design a plan that's going to get you from where you are to where you want to be? There's a million different ways. I've just given you what I think is the best one, because it got me to where I wanted to be, and I've seen it get literally hundreds and hundreds of people to where they wanted to be. So I know this one works. So sit down, schedule, plan, execute, or plan, schedule, execute rather. Go through the 3 Ds. Design your plan, figure out where you are, figure out where you want to be. Take that place in your head that we went to, and I said, imagine what it would look like if you had the body you wanted, if you had the money you wanted, if you had the sex life you wanted, whatever that is. Imagine what that would feel like and look like for you, and then design a plan to get you there. Now, I know this is the part where everybody always starts screaming at me for help, because we get in the information overload. Get on Google and Facebook and YouTube, and by the end of it, you're just wanting to pull your hair out. You're screaming. You feel worse than when you started. And this is where people come to me and they're like, Joe, please, for God's sakes, help me. I need help. Can you please help me? Well, I know you're stuck. I love this quote. I'm gonna only have a few more quotes, I swear. I love this quote from Yogi Berra, and he says, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. And that's where you are right now, right? Right now, you're at a fork in the road. You're like this guy. You're sitting at this fork in the road, and you just don't know which way to go. You don't know where to go. Do I go left or do I go right? And you're stuck. You're stuck in fear. You're stuck in anxiety. You're stuck in worry. And it's not your fault. I mean, it's your responsibility to change it, but it's not your fault. You got your subconscious mind programmed. You're addicted to these chemical profiles that your hormones are creating in your body. You've got these electrical impulses. You're wired for fear. You're wired for, virtually for failure. If you came from my background, you were wired for failure. You were wired, and you're stuck here, and you're sitting there looking, you're like, oh, I don't want to make another wrong decision. But you have to move, right? Bruce Lee said, if you love life, don't waste time, for time is what life is made up of. So I would say to you, stop wasting time. Just decide. Start with the 3 Ds. Decide, define, and design. Decide what you want, define what it is, design a plan to get you there. So I'm going to offer a little additional help. for everyone that showed up tonight, I'm going to offer a free 30-minute strategy session. Now, in these strategy sessions, we're just going to help you get unstuck. Okay, we're gonna figure out a way together to help you get unstuck, to help you decide on which road you should take. What's the best course of action for you from here, to kind of uncover some of those fears and figure out how we can replace them with positive, helpful thoughts, positive, helpful mindsets, to really master your mindset. So you can see on the side there, it says click here and schedule yours now. I'm only offering 10 of these sessions because, well, I still have regular clients and I work and I have a life, and I can't just give away all my time. So I'm offering only these free 30-minute sessions. There's 10 of them available. They're only available to people here on this webinar tonight. This is the only place you can get them. They're not made available anywhere else. I don't just give them away. So schedule yours now. So look, you can see now that it really is all about mindset, that it really is just about your programming, the way you've been programmed to think. So if you want to change your mindset, if you want to overcome your fear and anxiety, if you want to change those limiting beliefs, if you want to do that thing that seems impossible, don't wait. Click the button, sign up for your free 30-minute session, figure out what's going wrong, figure out the link in the chain that's broken, and fix it right now. Look, I want to thank everybody for coming out. This is always super fun for me to get to talk to a group of people like this. If anyone has any questions, you have my email. You can feel free to email me. In the meantime, schedule a strategy session. We'll sit down, we'll talk, we'll figure something out that's going to help push you over that next level. That's going to help you decide, oh, I need to go left or I need to go right at that fork in the road. Just schedule your session now, and thanks for coming out tonight. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon.